everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter.
Back then, we old timers signed up, so we signed up to actually go in a ring with someone, and it was my first time there. And I got into MMA on the dare because a friend of mine knew she knew that they were having these bouts at this bar, and this is when when MMA was fairly new outside of the UFC. And so, I wrestled and boxed, as a kid. So and I was always the tough kid on the street because, no one actually, I was a good street fighter. So when I went in, I went up against a guy who had won maybe 4 fights in a row in that bar. And when I came in, this guy was 6'3", he was huge, man. And I'm 6 foot. And so, but I was fearless. I didn't care. So, because I've already had this experience with fighting on the streets and all that stuff already. And so I just remember the bar being so smoky, D, that after hitting this guy in his nose.
And we're back, everybody, all the way from Omaha. It's Houston Alexander. Bam!
Midwest.
Man,
What's up, man?
I'm doing great. And I'm so glad that I'm going to be able to do your show. And I appreciate you reaching out to me. The first time I met you was at a radio station in Omaha, and you were sitting in, and we were talking, and we hit it off, and man, like that was cool because I really hadn't met any UFC fighters or
you can bring it back a little bit. You really never met any black people in Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it was a whole lot of like, he's a black guy, he's a MMA guy. I was like, this is not, what the hell? It's like,
hey, that's funny.
It'd be like opening a door and there's like Santa Claus. Hello, like what the heck? No.
But it was cool, man, because kindred spirits they seem to meet up. You know what I'm saying? I think we're from that same generation, man. So we kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's funny because then the more I got to know you, I was like, oh, he likes old hip hop, like old school hip hop and DJ and music, and I'm like, that's cool, like Let me ask you about like training and stuff, because like I said, I never even set foot in a boxing gym or anything like that when I met you, and I remember like you were like, hey, you want to come down and check us out in training, and I was like, I wouldn't even, but now I would. Now if I was ever so blessed to have that opportunity, I would absolutely like to get in there and like, I don't know if I'd spar with you guys, obviously, but I would just be like, how much could I keep up with what's going on here?
Yeah, you cannot come into a gym without sparring. You know what I'm saying? And how long have you been boxing now?
It's ridiculous. I don't even want to say, but it's like,
how long have you been boxing, D?
Well, I wouldn't say I've been boxing, but I've been consistently going to boxing gyms for 5 years.
Well, hey man, it's official. Hey, the next time we see each other, if we have it recorded right here on your podcast, we have to get into a ring and spar.
Oh my God, I'm sweating, and I'm like, I'm like two time zones away from you. I'm like, sure. Yeah.
Well, at least what's going on down there with Tito Ortiz and the city council, man, that's horrible.
Yeah, these guys.
It wouldn't be like that. It wouldn't be like that.
Yeah. And what about these like internet YouTube guys that are like trying to like call you guys out? I mean, that's what the hell, Like what's your take? What's your take on that? Like,
well, you know what? If you are brave enough, and I think there was a guy who spoke on this the other day that I saw an interview with. If you're brave enough to get in the ring with a professional versus some average Joe, and if the money right, I'm sure a lot of these internet people would like to get in the ring with someone, but because Mayweather's wanting to do it all the time now. He's retired, and anytime he feel like he want to go get a bag, he probably get one of the internet people out there. But you know what? I would suggest that a lot of these internet people, whomever they are, get into a ring with somebody professional. You get hurt.
Yeah, because they're not just like, hey, we're gonna do some drills, and besides, what if you start like what if you really do get hit, and then the whole exhibition thing's out the window? It's like, I'm not gonna be embarrassed, and.
Hey, all that stuff goes out the window because I always ask people, even when we're training, at what percentage do you want to hit each other? Is it 50? Is it 20? Is it 60, 70? You know, and as soon as these guys get into this, I'm gonna hit Houston Alexander really hard. That's when I take it to 110. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
hey, I always ask people where you want to take it.
Man, and that's what's a trip because, you know, like even just trying to master, like just what I can do, like with just boxing, which is like nothing. I can't even imagine like, you know, you like MMA, like where you got to look out for knees, elbows, choking, taking to the ground, kicking, like.
I think one of the most important things I learned about MMA, and I'll say this on your show, is a transition game. If your transition game to where you can't go from stand-up to wrestling to jiu-jitsu or to judo or any of those, if you're not trained to do so, it is very difficult, man, for you to think about, oh man, what do I do next? What do I do next? If you get into if you're going to a gym, you're constantly repeating the same thing over and over again, then you know you would definitely have a better chance than just coming in and just learning on your own. You know,
yeah,
it's a transition game that counts. Basically, what I'm saying is that transition game counts. You got to be able to transition from this to that to this.
What was always your strengths when it comes to MMA?
Oh man, you know what? I was always stronger than anyone in the ring.
So physically stronger, like, yeah.
I don't care if the guy was 300 pounds. You know, I was always the strongest guy in the gym, and I was always the guy who did the most in the gym because I was always told from coaches or throughout the years is that you always got to make sure you're the alpha in the gym, and you got to let everybody know in the gym that you're the alpha.
That's hilarious.
One of my strengths, one of my strengths is consistency. You know, people talk about ability and they talk about, oh, I'm able to box, I'm able to do this, I'm able to do that. But consistency over the years, man, that's what counts. Being consistent.
Yeah, it's funny because
like what you do. It's like what you do. If you're not consistent, you'll fade in the wind.
Yeah, like with my comedy, it's like, you're right. It's like, you know, and it's funny that you say consistency because even just taking months off at a time and then doing a show, it's like, you know, you feel a little rusty like that first show.
Exactly.
That's why, but I'm not totally rusty because I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing these YouTube shows, and I'm also like, you know, live streaming, all that stuff helps. And there was a period, maybe like a month ago, I did like 3 or 4 shows, and by that 3rd and 4th show, I was like, it was like easy. I was like, okay, I'm back. You know,
but there's a reason why they call it ring rust.
Yeah,
because you haven't been in the ring, and if you know, for those guys who keep consistently in the ring, you know, those are the guys that are winning because they stay in the ring. But, you know, but for those people who take, oh man, I'm gonna fight this year. I might take a year off. I'll come back and I'll fight this year. You know, but even with Conor McGregor, you know, he's been in the ring about a year or so now. You know, there's gonna be some ring rust there. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, especially after Khabib, you know, that looked really bad, you know.
Yeah, man. Khabib is he's one of my favorites right now. He doesn't play with you.
Right. Yeah, I think you would have. You know what? I think you guys would have had mutual respect for each other because, you know, like you said, he's a gentleman, and let's be the sport about it. We're not going to talk trash and cross the line, and it's not good, you know. Like, did you ever have that? Yeah.
When you talk about someone's parents,
yes,
or you know, or you talk about someone's religion, especially that, you know, their faith or any faith, and if you're disrespecting people just to sell tickets, okay, that's fine. But I'm sure there's other ways you can try to sell tickets other than all that, because eventually you end up tucking your tail and showing people who you are in the first place.
Did you ever have I'll either ask if you've ever had this happen or had someone, or you've heard this, like behind the scenes, like, listen, when we get out there, blah, 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 let's do this and this, but it's just for the cameras. Has that ever happened or is that common?
Yeah, a lot of times you know, again, if I don't know anyone personally, or I don't have a personal vendetta against anyone, you know, I'll ask the guy, hey, how do you want to stand? How do you want to look? if I know this person or if I have a certain decor with this person, I ask them. But other than that, people are going to be who they are. Your personality is going to shape how you stand in front of something.
Yeah, because like the whole face-off thing. Like I know a boxer, and when he went, I want to say New York, and I watched the face-offs, and actually the other guy, he just went up and kind of like took the mic from the other guy and just started talking. He's like, "You a blah 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 blah," and just started. It felt weird because I actually really liked the one fighter, and I was like, oh my gosh, like he's a nice person. He's a nice person. And that guy from New York knew that. And he was like, but then of course he beat him. And then after he beat him, he's like, he's a nice guy, man. That was just but I still felt bad. Like, damn, you just pumped.
Man, but again, it's all for the people, man. But if that's how you got to sell tickets, man, it's all good. It's for the crowd and for the people. But I don't get down like that, man.
Right.
I'm sure it's entertaining to talk crap all the time. I'm sure, and that's what people want to see. But at the end of the day, when all that crap, you do all that crap talking, and then you guys end up hugging at the end of your match. Sorry.
Exactly. Hey, when you talk about consistency, this is funny. So as a bare minimum, I tell myself every month, every day, after seriously, every day I'm going to try to do I do jumping jacks and some air squats just to get my day going. Not even the gym, but then I throw in for me, the amount is 50. I found 50 is a good number. 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups. And I write it down. See that right there? That's every day in December.
I see you.
Yeah. The X's are the days I skip, but I never want to see 3 X's in a row. I say never, man. I'm like, and there's, yeah.
I see you on Instagram looking all buffed, man. You looking swole.
Yeah.
You're 12, man, and I've been fairly impressed, man, watching you from afar.
Thank you.
And again, you got to be consistency. You got to have consistency in your comedy. Consistency in your health, consistency no matter what you do. So you asked me earlier what was one of my strengths, and that was one of them. No matter what I do, D, I try to stay consistent because at the end of the day, if you stay consistent, then you'll succeed.
Let me ask you about this. When you first started doing MMA, you did it in the how old were you when you started that? Like when?
I was 29. I was 29 years old when I first started.
29. Wow.
In the early 2000s.
Wow, that's crazy. Because now these kids are they know about it. They grow up watching it. It's like,
They have specific gyms now that teach mixed martial arts. So we can learn jiu-jitsu, karate, boxing, wrestling, all in the same gym. When we were coming up, back in the day, we had to go to this gym to get wrestling. We had to go to this gym to get boxing, and we had to go to this gym to get judo. So they were still separate art forms that we had to go to specific people to go learn it. Now you can learn it all in one gym. So I think that's I'm jealous of that because we had to go to Chicago to do this and then go to LA to do this, and it was fun. It's fun doing it, but why not stay in one place where you can get it all?
I know. The one thing that I've learned just from being in the boxing gym is don't punch the bag and just stand there. You're supposed to punch and get out of the way, punch and move. Like
you have to move, man. You can't be a mannequin sitting in front of the bag.
Yeah, they always film. Nowadays, everyone films for the Insta stories, and this coach is filming his 2 fighters. There was 3 bags in a row, and I just happened to be on the very far bag, and I didn't know I was being filmed. And later on that night, I was watching. I go, and I saw myself, my movement, and I'm like, oh my God, I am so I look like their father. like I just walked up.
Was you not doing anything, Dave?
Yeah. I literally walked up all stiff and was just like left, right. I mean, no footwork, no nothing. I didn't. But ever since then, it made me better because I'm like,
you have to find some type of rhythm. I tell people all the time, find some rhythm in your head, man. Find your favorite song, put it in your head, and start hitting the bags then.
Yeah. You know what I saw on the internet, and I actually tried it. This is cool, man. You take pool noodles, like you can get like for $10, you can get 3 pool noodles, and you duct tape them to the wall. And I've been just tapping the pool noodles, uppercut, hooks, and then doing straight punches. Just have something. It's like you're shadow boxing, but there's like an actual target.
Exactly, man. And you know what? They've used the noodles for a long time. You know, because when I train people on the side as well. You know, you use the noodles, man, to act as arms, and you have to go underneath them. So you're right, man. That's a good technique to have.
That's one of my favorite things about this kind of training is it doesn't really take like a lot of money or even a lot of space. You know, you get your jump rope and like you said, shadow boxing, like there's like this whole thing just to, you know, you don't, and I find regular gyms now, like a normal, like, you know, Family Fitness or whatever, I can't even go there. It's so boring to me. Like you walk in and people are on their phone and just the energy isn't the same. And I don't like it.
Not the same, man. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to put your damn phone down and just go at it.
Yeah. Like, you know, like these,
a lot of people a lot of people go back to the basics, have gone back to the basics, but even with MMA, boxing, or any of that stuff, you know, you still out of the tire thing where you will flip the tire. That's old school. You know, there's a lot of old school techniques are being used in modern days, you know, society right now. So I love it. Feeling you feel that's old school. You know what I'm saying? Old school. Going to the gym, smell the gym, smell the sweat, and smell people getting. You know, see people going after it.
I love that, man. That's like, if anything, I think it carries on over my day. Cause even if I do get there sometimes when all the pros are sparring, and even if I'm just jumping rope watching them, I'm like being inspired. I'm like, let me just jump rope as long as these rounds are, just to kind of, you know, keep up, or, you know, and it's funny, man, like just tapping the bag, even just like, you know, like not even really full on hitting it, just tapping the bag. I can, you know, I'm pretty worn out after, I swear you don't laugh, after about 4 rounds. After about 4 rounds, I'm like.
That's about average. That's about average. But again, find your rhythm. Do you use headphones when you're sparring?
No, usually.
In the back?
No, they have music playing. They usually have like music. So there's music. I love it when someone puts on the old school music like that we like, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, I haven't done it lately, but I used to put on my own playlist, and I would always put on James Brown because I think everyone likes James Brown, and it still has that, you know, get on up. I mean, it just has that, you know, that feels like you're the old.
I need you to go back to your boxing gym, and I need you to spar. You need that, man. You need to not sit on the sideline. You know, I'm sure whoever's at the gym know your level.
Yeah.
And I think you should get in there, man. Put some headgear on, and you have to do it. Seriously.
You know, I think that there's a couple guys that are like, yeah, I'll work with you. You know, like you know, just like tap or whatever drill, and I've done that a few times, and that was next level for me, where I'm like, okay, because you know,
let's take it to the next level, just like your comedy. Say, man, we have to take
next level.
And start sparring. Put your headgear on. And man, do it. You have, because I'm telling you this. There's no feeling afterwards, but that is a feeling of accomplishment right there in the center.
Oh my gosh!
Go a couple rounds. At least go 3 rounds, and just to see what it feels like.
I remember the first time I stepped in the ring, I hyperventilated. I was dizzy. It was a trip. I couldn't even go 1 round. And the guy had been boxing for like 11 years, and he was like, they basically said, I think the goal was, he goes, I'm not going to even try to hit you. Your goal is to hit me, because I've been there for like a month, and just like anybody off the street, you don't realize how tired, because your anxiety and you can't even. And these guys, which you know. You guys see the punch coming a mile away, and you just barely move it, and your hand goes the wrong way, and it's like after that I was like, I gotta learn how to at least like not flinch, learn how to breathe, everything they say. You're like, relax. You're like, how do you relax? This is scary.
but see, no one even factors in those things. You know, your anxiety, you being scared, you're not being in a situation like you're not. That's something that's not normal to get hit in the face. You know, it's not normal to move around and to try to hit somebody. So, you know, all the anxiety does, even when people do, you know, when people actually fight either the octagon or the ring, you know, that's not a normal thing. So when people get in there for the first time, unless you mastered that you know, that relaxation thing, because I tell people all the time when we're training, the most important part of the program is relaxing. if you can't learn to relax, you can't continue. So
Yeah.
you have to learn to relax, man. That's one important thing about it.
It's, you know, I've even with just my own like training, I realize like relax, and it carries over to other things, right? Even no matter what sport you're doing, if you can relax and just handle your breathing, you're gonna do better than like, you know, like even this is so funny. Like even I went to the dentist today, the dentist chair, and I got my X-rays. You can do a cleaning, but I found myself like tensing up, like just like oh, and I realized like no, relax, like just don't be all stressed out. Like hello, doctor. No, like it's just all like you know.
You have to relax, man. You have to relax.
Oh, okay. So I look now. This is according to Wikipedia. Your fight record. I don't know how accurate it is.
Okay.
Your very first fight. Well, first of all, many of your fights, you ended them really quickly. Hats off to that. Your first fight, did you win or was it considered a loss? I think it said loss.
My first fight was in 2002.
Yeah.
And you know it wasn't a loss at all because it was actually my first MMA fight ever because back then old timers signed up. So we signed up to actually go in a ring with someone, and it was my first time there. And I got into MMA on the dare because a friend of mine knew she knew that they were having these bouts at this bar, and this is when MMA was fairly new outside of the UFC. And so I wrestled and boxed as a kid. So and I was always a tough kid on the street because no one actually I was a good street fighter. So when I went in. I went up against a guy who had won maybe 4 fights in a row in that bar. And when I came in, this guy was 6'3". He was huge, man, and I'm 6 foot. And so, but I was fearless. I didn't care. So because I've already had this experience with fighting on the streets and all that stuff already. And so I just remember the bar being so smoky, D, that after hitting this guy in his nose, I've never seen so much blood because it was so much blood coming out of this guy's nose. He had blood everywhere. So
wow.
But we couldn't continue to fight, man, because of the smoke inside the bars. 1,000, everybody can smoke, but it was so smoky we couldn't continue to fight. So if that's considered a loss, I don't know. That was my first fight.
Okay, that's considered a win. Yeah.
I've had over 200 fights, D.
Wow.
See, Wikipedia wouldn't tell you that, but I've had over 200 fights since 2000.
Wow. I'm picturing like the Thriller, like just all fog machine, but it's real smoke and you're Thriller, punching people. And
man. Hey, man, I don't like fog machines because again, I never liked smoke around the ring because man, you can't breathe.
Yeah. See, that's funny, man. That's why I think like we used to be, I mean, I say we used to be tough, but like just the idea of like bar, like it's held in a bar, there's cigarettes, like that's totally a different world than it is for children in 2021. You know what I mean? Exactly. Moving forward.
I fought 5 times in one night, man.
See?
That's how crazy it was because I would knock people out so fast, it would be back to back. So it was crazy, man.
Dang. Do you ever look at those fights there's like these other fights that are online, like I think they're like backyard brawls or whatever with the guy with all the tattoos and well,
that's where Kimbo came. Kimbo Slice came out of the backyard brawls. But I see right now I think they're doing something just a little bit more organized to where they're organizing these things. But because I think they were just more, hey, let's meet up over here with the Kimbo Slice days. But now they're actually going to someone's facility and they're having like bare knuckle fights outside facilities. And
then with like YouTube and the internet, like these guys can kind of make a name for themselves, and then it's like, whoa,
Anybody on the internet now, anybody can become anything they want to be on the internet.
Right. I know, and it's frustrating when you're trying. Hello, and it's like,
hey, man, you have to get in the ring and spar, and you have to film it. You have to. Yeah. I think it would be. I think it would be good for YouTube for you to go in there and show people that okay, this is my journey into boxing. Now I'm going to get into ring and spar for the first time. And of course I'm scared. Of course I have anxiety. But you can show people that you can try and you can do it.
That's interesting. And like you said, consistency.
Consistency, brother. Keep it consistent. Every morning I get up every morning. I can be it can be a drunken stint one night. I could be DJing one night and I'll still get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go train.
Wow. That's cool, man. How many days a week do you train?
I try to train at least 6 and take Sunday.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful, man.
Give your body rest. But I take the vitamins. I take everything necessary, man, to make sure you repair and rest your body, man. You have to do that.
What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite exercise, or do you have multiple favorite exercises? But if you were to name like one or two,
I don't have a favorite exercise, man, because all exercise, your body is meant to handle all exercises. I know a lot of bodybuilders who separate their bodies. Well, I'm going to do arms one day. I'm going to do legs one day. But if you're walking every day, you're using your whole anatomy. If you're lifting things, picking up groceries, or you're playing with your kids, you're using your whole entire body. So I like all the workouts, all types of workouts, because you're using your body, your whole entire body. That's
cool. I was going to ask you. There's another one. Oh man. Okay. Back to here's what I was thinking about. Like, I've always wondered about this. Like, I would look at different fighters' records, and if I saw like that there was like their very first pro fight was a loss, I asked myself, how do they mentally overcome that? Like, how did they? Because sometimes, and then there's like famous cases of I can't think right now, but like these. Oh, that's whoever, like a famous person, like their first time, no headgear, no shirt. Professional, boom, they lose. And I'm thinking, how did they overcome it mentally to where they won the second, they won the third, they won, and it just because. I think you go back and you, of course, you watch the footage, just like just like if you were on stage, you were doing your routine, your comedy routine, and maybe that night you bombed, okay, or maybe that night I lost my fight. Well, what you do again, and it's cliche, you go back, you look. You learn from your mistakes. And I think, and the experience of being in the ring or being on the stage, if you're consistent, you'll come back to it and you'll look at the footage and you'll go, you know what, I could have did better with this. I could have did better with that. Okay, next time I'll do this. And you won't have this, you will not have the same anxiety because you'll know next time you'll know what to do. Yeah.
So I guess, I think that's what helps out a lot of people when they know what to do the next time.
Yeah, you learn, you go back and look, okay, I lost. But then mentally, because I think sometimes I'll mess up even because you're right. It's my own worst enemy type of thing. Like I remember like a year ago, I had a show that I didn't really like. And I thought, what was it? I thought, you know what? I need to really prepare better. I need to really mentally get all my subjects that I'm going to talk about so I can flow and not feel like I'm, I went back and I was that way. I listened to old shows. I watched stuff. So I couldn't wait to get out there as opposed to like, And
that's what a lot of people, and that's how, when a guy maybe loses a decision and he thought he won. Next time you go out, you do certain things that you assure that you win. And you've done and adjusted your routine to where you know that you're going to win the next time you go out there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about old school hip hop. Okay, the first time, old school. Like, I think maybe this is a lot of people's answer, but I think the Sugar Hill Gang was probably the very first time that I heard a rapper's delight. I remember like this kid was walking by and he had like a giant boom box and he was blasting it. And I may have heard the song already, or maybe that was the first time, but I remember that image of him walking down the street in our neighborhood. And I was like, wow, it's such a cool song. And it was one of those songs you could hear again and again. And then there was like a local college station that would play like, rap that came from LA and then maybe New York. And then I had a friend in 9th grade, we would trade, CDs. And I used to, man, like it was something that was so in my world new and it was exciting. And the words were kind of, you could really understand the lyrics and me being a comedian and that kind of mind, like a lot of the songs that I was drawn to kind of were funny, Yeah.
And the Fresh Prince, the the Bobby Jimmy. Do you remember Bobby
Yeah,
Jimmy?
I was just gonna say Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, I think, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All these roaches, man. Just again, man,
Yeah.
hey, my history with hip hop, man. I study hip hop, and I've been studying hip hop ever since I was a kid. But the first time I ever heard any type of rap music was probably Curtis Blow in the back of my dad's Cutlass. So
What song was it? These are the breaks.
The breaks.
Yeah.
And when you probably heard it on the West Coast, and that song by the Sugar Hill Gang was originally it sounded familiar because it was Chic's song.
Oh.
It was Good Times. So just
these are the good times. Oh wow.
It was so they took Good Times, which was already on the radio, and they all they did was just rap over it. So it sounded familiar already.
Oh, that's right.
Good Times was already by Chic was already playing, and so when you heard Rapper's Delight, because it was already an established song, you were like, oh man, it sounds familiar. So that's why it popped, man.
That's funny. And so as we were talking, I looked up Curtis Blow, because that's the thing. I'm never good with this. When I know a certain band and then I realize what songs they have, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was the same. I mean, there's this song, and for my whole life, I thought it was a David Bowie song. Turns out David Bowie doesn't sing it. It's just another guy that kind of sounds like David Bowie.
What was that? What song was that?
I believe in miracles, you sexy thing.
That was a black guy. I forgot the name.
Yeah. Let me look it up. I believe in miracles song.
Was it Stylistics? It was one of those.
It's called You Sexy Thing, and the guy, I don't know if it's a group or a guy, it says Song by Hot Chocolate.
Okay.
I believe in miracles.
It was one of those 70s bands.
Yeah.
And you would always see them on BET infomercials or something like that.
Yeah. Oh.
And so, yeah, man, yeah.
When I looked up Curtis Blow. Yeah. What?
You thought that was David Bowie?
I did. I thought that was David Bowie. Yeah. They, remember, Curtis Blow, Basketball. I love that song too. Yeah. Basketball.
Yeah, that was 1980. That was 85 when he came out with that.
Wow.
I believe.
Yeah.
But it's weird, man, because I heard a rumor that Curtis Blow was sitting on the corner somewhere in LA. And that there's something I heard this rumor, and I don't know if it's true, but I heard that Curtis Blow was on some corner looking broke or something like that, or he just had an operation because he had medical problems. But if that is true, from the rumor I heard throughout the industry, how does Curtis Blow? Because he didn't own any of his music or his masters.
I hope not.
How did he become? How did the old school guys? Because they all got played for fools with the contracts they signed. But how does a guy, one of the godfathers of rap, man, be down and out like that?
And if it is true, I would hope that somebody that's making a lot of money now and somehow in the industry or help a guy like that out, man. Like, it's not
if that's true.
If it's true, but if it's not him, if it's another one, if it's another person, it's like, yeah. I had a guy recently, a comic who's doing very well. He reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, I know a lot of us aren't touring, blah 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 blah." And then, long story short, he goes, "I want to pay you to help me write." And I'm like, "Nice." Like, it was just I was like, you know what I mean? Like, he could have chose anybody. And I think it was more like, "Hey, listen, I'm going to help you out because I like you and, you're a dad and blah, blah, blah."
Is that the energy you're putting out there?
I don't know if it's the energy. I think it's just the energy of, I'm, helping people, being positive. And maybe he was kind of like drawn to that. Like, I'm going to,
But that's the energy you're putting out there, brother. So it's
okay.
Coming back to you. Yeah. So you're planting those seeds, man. And there's nothing wrong with planting those type of positivity seeds, and that they end up coming back to you, because when people see you, and again, I watch you all the time. You just don't realize it. You're putting that energy out there, and for them to come back and do that, that's cool. That's good energy.
That is funny because sometimes especially during this pandemic, you wonder, like, you start wondering, like right now when you reached out to me like last week, I'm like, I wonder why. What is it that but that's that positive energy, and then we talked, and then I said, you know what, just do my podcast. Are you around? Can we do it a half hour? Like, let's just.
Hey man, hey, when you're ready, you don't have to get ready. I'm like, man, hey, let's go, let's do it.
You know what? I think it goes back to the analogy that I heard. If you see a person and they're pushing a car, people will stop and help them push the car. But if they're just like thumbs out, people are like, So I guess when people see each other doing stuff and working on stuff, they're like, you know what? I like the energy. I want to be a part of that. Let's do it. So
exactly, man. Exactly. So again, I think it's the energy. I believe that people are genuinely good.
I do too.
Even with this pandemic that's going on, I think people generally want to do the right thing. But when you got leadership, in certain positions that are being negative, that's the energy you're putting out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me with all the stuff that's going on.
Oh, you know what? One more song I was going to say that I used to listen to this song on repeat. Do you remember a song? Of course you do. Nucleus, Jam on It, Jam on It, Jam on It.
Yeah. I used to listen to there's another song by Nucleus. It's called Push the Button.
I got to look that one up.
Push the button, hey, push the button, and then you had to go back and watch this or listen to the song. Push the Button talked about the computer age of today.
Wow.
Back in 1983, 84. So
wow.
if you go back and you watch that video or you listen to that song, Push the Button by Nucleus is talking about 2020.
Wow.
And that goes back to R&B with Roger Troutman. Roger Troutman talked about computer love.
Computer love.
Hey, what was computer love about? He was talking about meeting someone on the computer. What are the people doing nowadays in 2020?
That's right.
They're meeting people on the computer. And this guy he had the foresight back in 1985 to put out a song called Computer Love, talking about meeting someone on the computer. That's crazy.
It's funny. I love Zapp and Roger. Oh man. And it's funny, like man, you're taking me back. I love this stuff. There was a Christmas vacation. I was in 8th grade, and I just listened to I don't know which song it was. It could have been like so rough, so tough out here, or it could have been more bounce, whatever. It was a song like that. It was one I love, and I would just listen to it again on repeat. And I told myself, and I locked myself in my room. I go, I'm gonna learn to juggle. I'm gonna learn to juggle this Christmas break. And I just was determined to juggle. And in my mind, I want to do like a talent show and juggle and do a lot. And I was gonna do it to that song, to Zapp and Roger.
Hey man, but you from the West Coast, exactly. Everyone loves the funk on the West Coast, man. Come on.
That's right. With the talk box, my son, he's 13. He wants a talk box for Christmas. We'll see.
Oh, that's crazy, man. And it's crazy that we're talking about Zapp and Roger. It's very unfortunate what happened to Roger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got killed by his own brother because of finances and jealousy.
That's insane.
Jealousy and envy, man. Jealousy and envy. All over.
I got to meet him. I used to work at a radio station in Fresno, and he came in. He had a long, the way if my memory serves me correct, it looked like a long fur coat, like a trench coat, like fur style. He was so friendly. He was so cool.
Man, Roger didn't drink or smoke. You know that, right?
I didn't know that. I knew he was very down to earth and super friendly. Yeah.
He says it all the time. But see, of course he can be friendly because he's from the Midwest.
Yeah. He went out of his way. Like, he didn't just like talk to like the DJs. We were like behind the scenes, like the telemarketers. And, at that time, there's just a whole bunch of us. We're like all 18, 19, 20. He came back and was just so nice to all of us, took pictures. I think he might have a son because there was a girl, and he goes, my son would like you. Like, he was just being real nice and just, it was cool. That was really cool. I like that. Once again,
is my camera am I looking dark on my end, or am I good?
No, you look good. You look good. You got the nice, you get the light, you got the, the background. Houston, Alexander, the assassin.
I gotta have something in the back. I can't have books or a cat in the back licking his balls.
Oh my God. You know what? I did a comedy show over Zoom and this kid was like eating cereal, just like looking at me, like, just like, it was so weird, man.
Hey, see, I told you, it's crazy, man. You got all these backgrounds, and what the pandemic did, D, was put everybody on the same playing field.
I know.
Everyone got a podcast. Everyone's doing this, but we're all dealing with each other, and we're all integrating with cultures, which is it's even better, man. Now that the pandemic is a horrible thing, but what's come out of it, us doing stuff like this. People connecting in ways they would have never connected if this wouldn't happen.
I got a few questions. They're real easy. They're about happiness. Yeah. Okay. They're all about happiness. What is the last thing that you've discovered or rediscovered that brought you a little happiness?
Oh man, what did I discover? I discovered that I like doing laundry.
Oh, hey.
Because I'm so tense. Hey man, D, I'm so tense all the time. Where it takes time and effort to do laundry. You got to separate everything, and this is the first time I've ever said this to anyone on anyone's show. But yeah, you got to separate the clothes. You got to put them in the wash. You got to be patient when they dry or when they wring out. So yeah, I discovered that I enjoy washing clothes.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this:
at laundromats?
Do you okay? This is a wild question. Okay, when it comes to clothes, when you got a shirt that's wrinkled, how do you get the wrinkles out? What's your method?
Oh man, first of all, I'm old school, so I got the iron. Or I'm from East St. Louis, so I got the iron ready. But of course I'm gonna cheat. If I got a dryer. If I got a dryer somewhere, I'm going to put it in the dryer real quick to see if I can get the wrinkles out. But if I can't get the wrinkles out, I got the iron ready, brother.
That's funny because I iron my clothes still. In a hotel,
we're old school. We got to iron the clothes, man.
Yeah, I make sure there's an iron that is working in the hotel. It makes me, I'm like, why isn't this thing working? Like when there's I go and get one, an ironing board. I love, but you're right. I cheat a little bit too. They got this thing. I think it's made by Downey, and you spray a bottle, you spray it, and then you kind of press it, and so
you cheat every once in a while, but you can never not have an iron around. You got to have an iron around.
Yeah, and apparently, and I found this out when I did the Monday night at the Improv. That's the Black Night, and then Speedy was like, "Damn, Darren, how long did you iron that shirt? Because it's shiny." Apparently, if you iron shirts too much, they get real shiny. I was like, "Oh, I guess so." Like,
hey man, we gotta iron our shirts. We're old school.
Yeah, I know what, man. Speaking of that, like that cultural stuff, like people, they don't want to talk, black people, white people. Like, what is great about comedy is we say jokes, people laugh, and we can laugh at ourselves, and it's awesome, man. Like, man. Like you know what? Like, I remember I had like this North Face vest. I loved the hell out of that vest. I wore it for so long, and like the label started kind of peeling off. And wouldn't you know it, like that's who tells you. My black buddy was like, "Damn, man, like you could, like you love that vest."
Because I heard a guy say once before, you never trust a black guy with dirty shoes.
Hey,
never trust a black guy with dirty shoes. Because in clothes. People are very particular about their clothes. If you care about yourself, you'll care about your appearance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if he pointed that out, you're just making sure you are on top of your game, bro.
Yeah. He's like, "You love that vest." I go, "I sure do." And he goes, "You wash the hell out of that vest." I was like, "Oh, I guess you're right. I never really, like thanks, white friends, for never pointing it out." Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you because I'm going to commend you, and I'm going to say this while we're recording. You were one of the first comedians I knew that started talking about different cultures. Thank you. And one of the first white comedians, and I don't like saying white comedians, but you're first white comedians that actually talk about different backgrounds and hip hop, and you was one of the first to start doing that, man. And people need to recognize that. And sometimes we got to remind people of our greatness, man. And you were one of the great guys out there that was doing that type of comedy. No, but seriously, you was one of those guys out there doing that type of comedy, man. And people need to recognize that. They need to go back to the portfolio and check out your resume, because you were beatboxing, you were doing this, you were doing that. Yep. You were doing hip hop and comedy.
Yeah, I loved it. It's like, It's the best, man. Okay, the last question. What is something, and it could be any price, it doesn't matter. What's something that you've recently bought that's made you happy? And
A boombox radio.
oh, really? Like the old school kind?
Hey, man. Hey, these questions are easy. There's one of those old school big square boombox radios, and I would go to pawn shops. I would go to like Goodwills, and I would try to. Cause I have over like 60 boom boxes in my basement. But
nice.
This one I found this particular one was in mint condition.
Wow.
I would go to this pawn shop, and I would always ask them, "Hey, did you guys get a radio today?" And I was like, we might have one in the back. Go check it out. And man, it was like one of those old school big square ones with the red with the red and the black.
Oh wow.
It was classic. I got it for $25.
Wow, that's cool. Is it?
It looked brand new, and if I had it in front of me right now, I would show it to you. But yeah, man, it was the boombox radio. So I'm real simple, man.
That's cool. I love it. See, things like that. Like it's something that a friend of mine. I always ask people this question, and my buddy, he said that he bought his was a kind of an expensive item, but it was kind of funny because it was his previous vehicle was like 20 years old, and he goes, I have a used car, but he goes, it's a 2018, and he goes, man, it has a rear view mirror, like camera and seat. He goes, everybody else was living like this. I didn't even know this stuff existed. Like it was just to see the joy on his face, And then another answer, somebody told me, Jason Andor's a New York comic. He goes, believe it or not, he goes, I bought a toilet scrubber, and he goes, there's something about having a pristine, clean. I was like, we don't need to go any further than that.
Hey, man, but sometimes it's just the small things, and especially during these times, it's the small things that make you damn happy, man.
And for some reason, when he said that, he goes, what's the last thing that you? And I go, you know what, man? And I held up this back scratcher that I have. I bought this back scratcher, and he goes, oh man, he goes, I thought I thought you were gonna say it was a toilet scrubber. And he goes,
hey man, I got a back scratcher. I wish I could find a metal one.
Yeah,
because I got a wooden one.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah, those are the best, man. Those are the best.
I think that I might have to incorporate that with the questions, because I think there's something about a back scratcher. I don't know if women are into back scratching, but men, we love having our back scratchers and our little, they got the metal one.
We can't
exactly.
Our shoulders are too wide. We can't get around, man. We can't get around it.
You know what? I bought this one. It was like it basically it's like a rope with handles, and in the middle is where like the back scratching device part is, and you go like this. It was like the best Christmas gift I ever got.
Hey, I'm gonna have to do this, man. Hold on.
All right, okay.
I'm going to do this because this is going to irritate the hell out of me. Hold on.
All right, this is hilarious.
Boom! There you go.
Whoa!
I got to make sure I'm sitting in front of my camera.
Oh, look at that! That's cool.
Where yeah, because it gets dark here in the Midwest. So so now am I good right now?
Oh, that's good. See, we had like the sunlight, and then all I see as the interview has gone down, the sun. Yeah,
exactly. That's what happened. Like, oh shit.
Where'd our mystery guest go? You're like, darkness. Yeah.
But hold on, I got a question for you, man. On your
podcast.
What influenced the fusion of hip hop culture with comedy? What was the influence?
I think what it was is it's I grew up in Fresno. I grew up in kind of a blue collar neighborhood, I guess you could say. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm adopted. I grew up in a foster home, and just my upbringing and where I was, at, and when I first found out about like hip hop, I thought it was so cool because it was almost a thing. It would probably be like how it was for dudes that used to play, music in the garage in the 60s, like after they saw the Beatles, they're like, we're going to have a garage band. Like my buddies and I, we used to like write out lyrics, and I'd write out these raps and I would perform them at school, especially back then. I don't have the photo on me now, but I have bright red hair, glasses, just very skinny, like real nerdy. Like you would not, especially back then, you wouldn't. I was the last person people expected to rap. So it was kind of like an advantage because they were like, you could rap, and then everybody gather around, and I would start doing my thing, and they're like, the white boy can rap, the white boy can rap. It was just like, like because it was back then. Now it's like whatever. But this is like,
but dude, the whole thing is when we were coming up and when hip hop was new, we were all drawn to it because it was hip hop is a youthful culture. You know what I'm saying? And the youth, even today, I still enjoy rap, but not as much as I did back then. You know, and I think us coming up, it was so fresh and new for us. It was just crazy, man. It was a crazy drawn feeling of us being drawn to an art form.
Yeah, it was great. And then remember the message, and just, I mean, like the rap song, The Message, was that Curtis Blow? I don't remember. Or no, Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash. That's right.
We're going to be interviewing Raheem he was one of the guys that wrote the lyrics to that. Well, we're going to be interviewing him in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. See, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not really good at putting names, and like some people are. They're like, oh, that was, right when you said Raheem, I was picturing Eric B and Rakim, but that's totally different. But like, but you know what I mean?
Totally different era. Yeah. That was the second generation of hip hop.
Hey, okay, I'll as we're winding down, I'm going to say, like, so what have I rediscovered? Like, I used to listen to the blues a little bit back in the 90s. I people are like, oh, check out Howlin' Wolf or Muddy Waters, and then, but lately, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of almost that same way that I felt as a kid, discovering like all these rappers and like these great songs. There's like a lot of really cool songs in the blues. Do you get into the blues? And
man, I've been into ZZ Hill. Come on, man. I've been into the blues because it's crazy that people don't know that any origins of American music comes from the blues, the church. Any of that comes from black music, man. And of course, I know all. I try to study as a DJ. I study all music, no matter what type of music it is. I study it. But blues is definitely one of my favorite. And then Howlin' Wolf, he's one of my favorite. Please, so blues is So I do get that feeling sometimes when I hear a good blues song. But I just don't get that feeling anymore listening to rap.
Yeah, it's I mean, I like
old man, get off my lawn, you young whippersnappers. But it's fresh and new for kids out now. But when we know the history and we've heard better, that's why it's hard to listen. That's why it's hard to listen to some of the stuff we hear now. Yeah,
and it's just, I know, it's like I tried to show my nephew, like, I'm like, you got to check out this. And all of a sudden, as I'm playing it for him, he's like 11, I'm hearing it the way he's hearing it. And he's just like looking at me like how when I was a kid, we'd look at a black and white movie. We're like, I'm like, no, this is great. This is Run DMC. Like, this is great. Come on. Call me sire. I will not quit. Come on. Aren't you pumped up? And they're like, they're like,
They're like, okay.
Yeah. Run.
My son, my son has an iPod, and I put a lot of the songs in there. He likes a lot of wrestling themes because he's into wrestling. But I put a few old school songs in there. And again, the kids nowadays, there's nothing wrong with what they're listening to.
Right.
They haven't heard anything other than what they're hearing now. So they just need to be educated, man. Like, hey, if you are an MC or rapper in the game, go back and find out who came before you. Like, Nipsey Hussle was good at that. He was good at old school,
Like you and I were talking about that song called Batting Ram, talking about the Batting Ram coming
by Toddy T.
So good, man. Like they're when you're hearing that, you're like, wow, like this is like you're hearing this, and they're painting a picture in your mind, like the cops are gonna bust in your door and get you before you can flush the drugs down the toilet. The batting ram. A lot of us.
Was Fresno? Was Fresno? Did Fresno get hit by crack the same way LA did?
I don't know if it got hit exactly the same, but it definitely did. Like, I remember especially like the with the gangs and stuff like that. And even now it's like, there's the murder rate's pretty high out there. Like it's, cause it's about 3 hours north of LA and a couple hours like east of like San Francisco, Oakland. And it's just, you know, it's definitely a lot of good in Fresno, but then, you know, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. It's good to hear that.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. That's why it's like, you know what? That's what's interesting. Like I drove past this police station the other day, and I didn't even realize it was a police station. Here's what I saw: there was a mural on the side of the building that showed a woman, a female boxer, and a male boxer with their gloves, and it said something like courage, respect, pride, or something like that, something positive. And I thought, I wonder if that's a boxing gym. And as I kept driving, I saw it was like the police station, probably like the police athletic league or something. But
yeah,
that was something that you probably know about this. Like I didn't even realize, like, if you take kids that are kind of like the lost youth or whatever, and they learn boxing and training or MMA, they'll actually, it straightens them up. It seems like it's counterintuitive, but it does help people.
But you're right though. There's a discipline in mixed martial arts, and mixed martial arts can be any type of boxing, kickboxing, wrestling. You know, there is a certain respect, a certain discipline that you got to have to do any of that. You know, you can't if you're a wrestler, especially with wrestling, if you're that's mano y mano. In boxing, mano y mano, you have to have the discipline to do so. And if you have all that negative energy that you're trying to take out in the ring, you're so tired at the end of, like you said, you're so tired after about 3 or 4 rounds. You know, how are you gonna be negative after that? So
right.
You might as well take that energy and harness that energy. So I think that's what it does for you. It takes that either negative energy, good energy, and it directs it. It directs it, man.
Yeah, because you're like, you know, like you said, just having these little simple plans is like, okay, I gotta be, you know, I gotta keep this promise to myself, you know.
That's it. You gotta have some type of plan, and especially nowadays, you gotta have some type of plan for your day, man, for yourself, to make yourself better than you was the next day. It sounds cliche, but it's true. Make yourself better than what you was the next day, you know, the other day.
Absolutely. In closing, tell us where they can hear your podcast or see your stuff online.
Oh man, well you can find me on all my social media sites at Houston Alexander or Houston the Assassin. But then we have a podcast called The Elements Live, and what we're doing is we're interviewing people from all walks of life, all cultures, and we're taking little bits of elements from all of it. So, you know, that's something that we've been working on. And, of course, I got my foundation, the Houston Alexander Foundation, where we go, we do go into this. After the pandemic, dropped, we were going into the schools and teaching kids about hip hop culture. So we would have DJs, we would have B-boys, we would have rappers, we would have people who beatbox, and we would do this in front of the whole entire school and teach the kids about the different elements. So, you know, but we're doing other things outside of that with the Houston Alexander Foundation, but that was one of our main things we're going to be doing once this is all over with. And I train people all the time. You know, I've been training people for free for the past 10 years, you know, because there's different types of workouts for different body types. So I would take you and we will find out what your strengths and weaknesses are, you know, we will find a way to get you going, and once we get you going, my job is done, you know. But man, a lot of things I'm doing, D, right now. That's pretty cool.
But by the way, being a coach and a mentor, that's a gift, man. My first boxing coach ever, he passed away back in May. God rest his soul. But the things that he's taught me were just, it's something that just lives on. And as you're training, as you probably know, you think about the different, you know, advice that your coaches have said to, you know, like you said, back when you said the old school, the training stuff, he was the one that showed me like a lot of the stuff to do on the tire, like lifting the tire and moving your feet back and forth over the, you know, all that stuff. And I always think about, like, he would say these little funny little ways of saying something that I remember the first time.
That'll always stick with you.
Yeah. His name was Coach Ward, Stan Ward. And he would, I remember the first time I had to do the speed bag, I wanted to drop this tired one and just go like this, but he's like, nope, you keep them both up. And I go, my arms are sore. And he'd be like, it's better to have a sore shoulder than a sore head, So I always think like,
Hey man, hey, enough with talking about all this boxing, man. You need to get in the ring. And next time I see you on Instagram, or any of your social media sites, you need to film yourself. At least do 3 rounds, D. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm out there like
you gotta do it. I think it'd be perfect. It would be perfect for people to see your transition from training to actually sparring.
Oh God, yeah.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
I know. It would be, you know what? You're right. And if anything, it would challenge myself to be like, okay, no more,
Yeah, no more looking like the dad in the background.
Exactly.
We need you in the ring, man. You need to get in the ring. You need to get touched.
Oh my God.
You need to get touched a little bit, brother. And
yeah.
So it's like, what would you tell a comic? What would you tell a comic just starting off? What would you tell that person before they get on stage?
Exactly. Yeah. I would tell them, okay.
I'm telling you the same thing, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. Enough of I practice in my bedroom. Yeah, exactly. Dude, just get out there. Yeah.
Come on, man. We need you in the ring. And when I click on the Instagram one day, I want to see you go, man, here's my first 3 rounds in the ring.
Oh my God.
And it's gotta be at least 3. At least 3.
Yeah, 3 rounds. Wow. You know what? I'll tell you the most tired I ever got in the ring. Well, number one, this is for people who don't know about this. The ring, it kind of has a give to it. There's like a bounce to it. So it's not like when you're on the normal like ground with mats, it's like there's like a firmness. You don't even think, but the ring, how it has a bounce to it, it's almost like you're in sand or something, I guess. Like and there's a little bit of carpet up there, so it's weird. It's unusual if you're not used to it. So the guy, one of the coaches had the pads, and not only am I hitting pads, and he's telling me this, now he's chasing me around the ring, where he's like, go left, right, move. So I got to go left, and I was like to the point where I'm like, okay, because I just want to go 1, 2.
It's a lot of thinking, hey man. There's a lot of thinking, man.
And I'm looking over there, and there's like still like a minute 30 left of the round. I'm like, dang, this is tiring. You're like,
Hey, D, never look at the time.
Okay.
Never ever look at the time, because it'll take forever.
Last question. I know when they said, maybe I already have my answer, but when you're in your real fight and you know that there's 10 seconds left, you hear that ding, 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 or that sound. Do you amp it up, or do you think, okay?
Oh, man, you got to. You know it's the last. That's what you train for. You know it's that last second, because if you're down and you hear that last 10 seconds and you just go balls out, you might get a knockout within that 10 seconds. Don't even know. Every second counts. That's weird, but every second counts. And if you hear that 10 count and all of a sudden you just go balls out and you just happen to clip that guy or you just happen to do something that guy process, that's what it's for.
Damn, that's amazing. Houston Alexander, thank you so much for coming on. And in closing, any words of wisdom, anything you'd like to share with us today? Okay, well, in closing, I think we talked about this earlier before we went on. I was talking to Shabadoo, and Shabadoo is one of the dancers, one of the original West Coast street dancers from the West Coast. When we spoke to him, and he said there's 3 types of lions in life. And first lion is one that's on the safari, free, got a hell of a responsibilities with the pride, and this lion is out on the plains, free as just free as can be, and he is the actual king of the jungle. There's another lion, the Circus Lion. He's the one jumping through fire, sitting there on the stool, being told what to do, riding on bicycles, which is not nothing normal. But this lion is being told what to do, and he is in the circus. And then last but not least, there's the lion that was that's in the zoo. Fake environment, fake rocks, fake grass, and the lion. What is the lion doing? Absolutely nothing. So, which lion in life do you want to be?
That's the bottom line.
That's a good one. Something to think of.
That's something to think of.
Houston Alexander, thanks for coming on the Pocket Party podcast, and love to have you back. And I can't wait to be on your show.
Hey man, I'm down, man. Anytime you need me on, man, just say, let's get it. Well, hey,
that's cool.
Get out of here. Hey man, take us out with the beatbox, man. Come on, man.
Everybody, go look up "Push the Button" by Nucleus.
Push the button.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you later. Bam.
Hey, push the button, man. Push the button. It's done.
Push the button. We out.
We're done with this interview.